Hello beautiful and welcome back to my channel and welcome to this video where we are going to try a full face of new makeup. I have some really exciting things. I have the new foundation from Beauty. I have this micro mini eyeshadow palette from Glowish by Huda Beauty. I have a bunch of new things and we're just going to be trying them out and seeing if these are worth picking up or not. I feel like I'm having my morning voice because I have not been talking since I woke up. I'm filming this at 9 o'clock in the morning. I've just been sitting doing like work by my computer and I'm like, I think this is the first time I'm like actually speaking. So I did buy this foundation. I bought this from the Beauty website. This is the Beauty Sweetener Foundation and they did not have light medium, which is usually what I get. Just a quick caveat, I am 39 years old. I am a light medium skin tone with a neutral golden undertone, and I would say that I am a oily combo skin. I do get very oily in my T-zone, so I do try to stay away from things that are described as very dewy or just very sticky. I tried to stay away from that, but I think this one was described as like a soft matte. Blur skin to soft focus perfection with this lightweight foundation infused with REM Hydra Smooth Essence and botanicals known to help correct dullness and reduce the look of pores and hyperpigmentation. Gently shake. Okay. And like I said, I don't think they had any light medium. I think their shades were light and then medium, so I decided to get the lightest neutral in the medium. Yeah, this is the medium to neutral. I'm gonna apply this with a sponge. Sometimes I like sponge, sometimes I like brush, but that is a cat hair. Ooh, should we zoom in a bit? As you can see, I am more tan on my body than I am on my face, so I tried to find something that I tried to find something that is a sliver lighter than my skin, because as tan as I am right now, I've been hanging out with my husband quite a lot by the pool. This is not my normal tanness, so I tried to find something that is not as tan as this so that I can like use it for the rest of the year as well. But I think that this will be, yeah, it's like a sliver lighter than my shoulder. I will say I really like the consistency of this. It almost feels like a lotion. Like, not a lotion, but like a gel moisturizer. Not necessarily like a see-through gel, but it had a very light, nice consistency. And that looks and feels wonderful. So I've used one pump and I feel like it. I feel like I used about one pump to cover more than half of my face. I need a little bit in my forehead and on my nose. So let me just do like almost a full pump. Is that still a cat hair? But I think that this looks great. Look at that. And it feels like you just put on a nice moisturizer. It doesn't feel tacky, it just feels moisturized. But we are gonna see if this one dries down or not. Ooh, I got it in my brows. I don't need to get it there. Everybody calm down. So I wasn't the biggest fan of the pot concealer. I feel like the pot concealer was just, like I said, I'm 39. I have a lot of fine lines and very thin skin under my eyes. And I just felt like that concealer was a little bit too heavy for me. I also do not struggle with breakouts or acne, I would say, at all. Sometimes I get one or something every other time I have my period, so I don't really need to like spot conceal in that way. So for me, that concealer wasn't perfect, but I was very intrigued by the foundation. And I will say, I think it looks really good. I would say that this is a medium coverage. I definitely feel like I can build it up because it is such a nice consistency. I like a medium coverage though, so I'm not gonna put on any more. But let me actually just have this on for a little bit. And you can find this at Ulta now as well. I will link it down below. I'm gonna have this on for a little bit and we'll see if it dries down, like how it feels, because I prefer a foundation that it doesn't need to be like powder matte, but I need something that just feels like I can touch it without getting it on everything. I also did end up picking up the Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin Awakening Concealer. Oh, this has a quote from him. I created this weightless concealer to lift, brighten, and perfect the complexion. That sounds nice. Main ingredients is water, which makes me excited because I like a concealer that is more liquidy and like light in the consistency. For me, like I said, with my under eyes, if something is too thick, if something is too hydrating or creamy, it usually just looks extremely heavy on my under eyes. I do not have dry under eyes, but I have very like fine skin under there. I got this one in number 180, and I think that this is probably a, what would I have gotten? Either a light, a darker light, or a lighter like medium. I do like my concealers to be a little lighter to brighten up because I have very wide temples here. I just try to elongate my face. So I like to put my concealers like this and down here to make my face appear longer than it is because it's pretty wide. I think it's important when you're doing any kind of contouring. I like to contour with light instead of darkness, that you figure out like what is it that you're trying to achieve, and I want my face to look longer. I will say the consistency was very light and nice. That's a really nice coverage. And like I said, doesn't feel overly creamy, so I don't think that this is gonna crease too much on me. Sometimes they do anyways, but if I find something that's like, you know, that thick, creamy, that people call like, oh, it's so creamy, it's so hydrating, I know that's gonna crease on me within 20 minutes. It's not meant to be. I also prefer a concealer that's a medium to full coverage because sometimes I don't want a full coverage. I want my skin to look like skin. That actually looks really, really nice. I'm gonna leave this for a couple of minutes. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go and just do my brows, and we'll see how this feels after like 5 minutes or so. I want to get a grip on what kind of consistency we're dealing with. So I did do a little lip liner as well because I want to put on a lipstick. I will say, you can see it creased a little bit. I mean, I do have, like I said, I have a lot of fine lines, but I don't feel like the concealer creased that much without setting it, which for me is usually a really good sign. The foundation, it feels a little too hydrating to not set with powder, so we are definitely gonna set with powder. I did buy and I bought this a while ago, and I did another of these like trying all the new hyped makeup, but this one came broken, so I did go to Sephora and I did exchange it, and I got a new one. So this is the Nomad Cosmetics Glazed Skin, oh my god, it's so hard to read this packaging, Sheer Finishing Powder. So I got this one in medium, but this one is, it says it is a sheer finishing powder. This one is very shimmery. And I know this fact from getting this one smashed all over my box. Everything was very shimmery. So I don't think that we will be setting our entire face with this. I think we will be using this more as a glowy finishing powder. So instead I will be using the Lunar Beauty powder. This is the new powder that he came out with. I just recently did review this one, and I can already tell you that I really like this powder. So we are going to be using this, and I am going to be using this under my eyes and on my face, and then we're just going to be brushing away the excess, and then we're going to go in with like some bronzer and some blush and all of that, and we'll end with the powder from Melt, because I don't think that will be a good one. This one is very finely milled, and I can use quite a lot of it and then just brush it off. And like I said, I do get a lot of creasing under my eyes, and I do get oily in my T-zone. So for me, I like to use more powder, but I don't like to bake. I like to put it, and then I like to immediately brush it off. Let me see if I can find a brush that I can actually show. So it looks a little bit like this, and I am going to be using just a little bit around my cheeks as well, because we're going to go in with some bronzer. And because this foundation didn't set down entirely on its own, I don't want my bronzer to like stick to not a dewy, but like not a more hydrating foundation, because I didn't feel like it felt like tacky or like overly sticky, but I just didn't feel like it dried down completely. And now I'm just working that into the skin, and now I can touch my skin. Big fan. I am gonna, before I go in with everything, I don't know if like you do this, but I usually use setting spray in like different layers if I'm gonna be wearing it throughout the day. And of course, all of this is just the first impression. I always come back and give like my final reviews after I've used the products for weeks and weeks. That usually is about a month later after my first impression. I come back and I let you know how I feel about the products once I've used them more, with different primers, with different setting sprays, without primers, longer, like all of that is going to be further on in the future. And the first impression can give a lot of info, but it doesn't give all the info. So I'm going to put on a lipstick. I am in the middle of reviewing the Jones Road lipsticks, and I got a couple of shades, and I want to use at least 2 shades. So I used the Mocha Rose before, and it's really, really beautiful, but I wanted to make sure that they are the same because the Mocha Rose has a little shimmer in it, and this one does not, and it is in Nude Mauve, and I just wanted to make sure that they feel and look equally beautiful with and without the shimmer. This is a almost like a balmy lip color that is sheer but buildable. So I have quite a few different things to show you. I have the Blend Bunny Forget Me Not palette. I have this little glowish green quad, which we are going to be using as my crease colors. And I also have this one. Let me actually take this one out of the packaging. This is from Florasis. The packaging is beautiful, but we don't need it. It looks like this, and this one is a really beautiful eyeshadow palette, and a bunch of you were asking me, can you do something with this? And let me just show you like some swatches of this palette. Honestly, this palette is beautiful, and I think I'm gonna be using that orangey shade as a blush as well. So I think we're gonna be starting with the Forget Me Not by Blend Bunny, and that is an all-in-one palette. So let me show you that one too. So this one is a contour, eyeshadow, highlighter, all-in-one kind of a palette, and it's meant a little bit for like, if you like all-in-one palettes, and also if you are a working makeup artist, which I am not any longer. I do not do makeup on others any longer. That's not one of my things, but I thought we'd be using this one. I hope you can see that there are different undertones in here, and I like that there are different undertones in the darker shades as well. That makes it very versatile for different skin tones. How much use am I gonna get out of something like this when I'm not a working makeup artist anymore? That I don't know, because I don't do a lot of neutral looks, but I thought that I could be using this one as like a bronzer contour today. I feel like Anticipation and Room Service mixed will be a good bronzer shade for me, because one of them is a little bit too red tone and the other one has a little beige in it, so that I'm just dipping in between. I'm just doing this, dipping in between. And that's the thing when it comes to palettes like this. You have to sometimes mix a little bit to get the shade that you are looking for. This is still too red for me. I need a more yellowy undertone for it to not look like blush. And I feel like this is why this palette is more of a contour palette than a bronzer palette. Because like I can contour with this one, but I can't bronze with this one because it is leaning a little bit more cool toned and a little bit more on the red side. I think it looks really pretty, but it's not the perfect shade for me. And that is again because it is a good shade on me. This looks good, but what I'm used to. I love a golden bronzer on me. I don't contour, I bronze. It's just my jive. But if you're looking for an all-in-one palette, this one has pretty good pans as well, and you can really get your brush in there. And I mean, that looks like a good contour, but would I want to have a little bit more golden? Maybe now is the time to go over with the melt powder. Because this one, I don't know, I'm a little bit worried. There's definitely some sheen in there. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm gonna use my bronzer brush and I'm just gonna go over this. Oh, there is a little sheen to this. I'm not ever putting any glowy powders in my T-zone because that's just not gonna look good on me. I don't know if this is warming up at all because there's almost so much shimmer in it that it's turning a little cool toned. It has a beautiful sheen though. But it's almost looking a little muddy because of the sheen, because it's almost bringing it to a gray. I want a bronzer. Can I go in with a little bit of my Private Island by Fenty? This is a golden bronzer. You can see this is a golden bronzer. I'm just gonna sheet a little bit because I don't want to have gray on my face. Yes, just warming it up a little bit, just cheating a little bit. This has more to do with personal preference and like what I like in makeup, and I like warmth. There's still a little bit of muddiness here due to that setting powder. That melt powder is weird. It's, I don't know. It's a little weird. Should I just try maybe? I love how I'm applying more. I just want to understand how to use it. I don't like, do you see that? It's almost like a taupe. That's a little weird. I'm of course gonna have to use that a bit more and use it with other products as well to make sure that like it's jiving the way it's supposed to jive. But I was thinking, let's go in with the blush. And that blush is a warmer orangey blush, so that might actually do more for this look than we think. And you can use this one as eyeshadow too. This palette is like an all-in-one thing. And these are a baked gelée formula, so they definitely, you definitely have to go in a little bit with your brush. Yeah, that did help actually. It's not perfect, but it's looking better than it did before. Because like that is at least a warm glow, even though like it's almost going into the taupe here, but we'll see beyond that. Also, can I say Merit sent me these eyeshadows? You remember those cringy commercials about eyeshadows are so tricky, so we like invented something here, and it's apparently a cream to powder shadow. I have the green one. Mine is a little bit melted because it's very warm here, although today is actually the first day that I'm feeling like it's not in the hundreds, which is a little refreshing. Even though I love the heat, it's nice to go out in the morning and it's not that. This one is, oh, this is brun, which is the Swedish name for brown. I'm guessing it means something similar in another language too. And this is the dark brown. I'm gonna use these, but I don't want to use them in today's video, but maybe I should. Should I use the green one? And then we can go in with the, but then we don't know if this one is pigmented enough. So you know what, let's not, because I want to use this one and I want to see how I feel about this one. So I'll use the Merit shadows some other time if you want me to, because I am intrigued to see how I feel about these, because they also sent me this super tiny brush and I don't like short brushes, but I'm intrigued to see how those perform, because they really did build them up to be like the best thing since sliced bread, and I have a feeling they're just going to be another cream eyeshadow. So this is the little quad from Huda Beauty. This one is in moss, and I don't understand why it's called the micro mini, but I'm guessing they're trying to say that it's a really small one. And it is a really, really small eyeshadow quad. We are going to be using this one today. I'm going to put on some eye primer, and I'm going to be using some of these shades. Ooh, should we put on the highlighter from the Blend Bunny palette? We'll do that as well. And I want to use maybe something from this one, the more colorful shimmers. We'll play around a little bit. Honestly, I just want to see if these green mattes are good green mattes. That's all I want to know. I am intrigued to be trying this format out from Huda Beauty. Primer is on, and I think we're just going to start with the light green, and then I'm going to build with the dark green, because that's, like, sometimes I start with the darker one. It's more when I know the formula, but I don't know this formula, so I kind of want to try it out and see what it can do. So I'm starting up with the lighter one. It picks up a lot on the brush, and there is a low kick up in the pan as well. That is a nice color. It shears out. I will say, I personally wish that this color was something else. I understand that they are like, oh, let's have a transition shade, but this one could have been either a more shiny metallic, because this one seems more like a satin, like a browny, greeny satin. And I think that this one could have been either a brighter metallic, or it could have been a lighter matte as like more of a contrast. But again, that's just personal preference. I know a lot of people probably look at this and they're like, no, the beige is needed. It's just, for me, personal preference, I didn't need the beige. But yeah, I'm trying to build this green up as much as possible to see if we can get like full opacity. And I do like how that looks. It looks really nice. But the interesting part is going to be, can we build on it? Can we deepen it up with the darker one? I'm going to put a little bit under my eyes as well. Okay, so with an EO5, we're going to do this like darker green. I feel like this looks nice. I think that this looks nice. This is the big test though. Again, it picks up a lot and there is a lot of fallout from this one in the pan. I think you can see I just touched it. But let's see what we can do. I'm gonna see how much I can build this up, because I want to be able to deepen this up. And I know like I'm gonna mix and match from a couple of different palettes in like today's video. But remember, you can do that at home as well. Like, don't forget that you don't have to use like one palette for a look. If you're like feeling like, oh, this isn't exactly the shimmer that I'm looking for, or this isn't exactly the matte that I'm looking for, just dip into something else. Be your own palette designer. You know what? That is building up pretty decently. You know what? I am not mad about that. I feel like... And this is what I wanted to see. I wanted to see, can I get a nice green crease with this? And I definitely can. I will say, like, this shimmery, it's you can see, it's like a dark army green. It's not really like a metallic, it's more like a satin. It's like a browny green. It's not really what I have on my lid, but you could definitely do a smoky eye with this one on. Are these the easiest eyeshadows I've ever worked with in my life? No, but they're definitely nice, and I think that this turned out pretty good. I'm happy with the blend. Is it perfect? No, but my lids are also not perfect. You can see there's a lot of divots and like little wrinkles and creases, and it just is what it is. Honestly, I think it turned out really, really good. So what do we want to use in this palette here? That's the question, right? I'm thinking... What am I thinking? Maybe this one, because it would match like a little cool tone moment. Let's do this one. Let's do that one, and then we can do one of the light matte ones from the Blend Bunny palette. I'm just digging in all the palettes now, but like, I'm allowed. I have these in front of me. So, oh my god, I'm ruining this embossing. I always feel bad when I ruin the embossing of the Florist palettes, but like, what am I supposed to do? It picked up pretty good though, even though there were the embossing and the baked gelée formula, but this brush also picks up really, really good. So let's just do this here. Oh, this is definitely more of a sparkly topper formula. It's not like a fully opaque formula. That would have been nice for me to know before digging in, if we're gonna be honest. So the question is, am I gonna maybe use a little bit of this shade, the dark one, in the outer part then, just to make it all come together? Otherwise, I think it's gonna be really hard. Because yeah, I'm actually a little bit surprised. I feel like the shadows from Florist's are usually more pigmented than this. I've used quite a few of their palettes from before, at least 2 or 3. It probably is 3. Oh, you can build it up a little bit. And I am remembering them being a little bit more pigmented than this, but it also could be that it's meant to be a topper. But let's try the shadow from this one, and let's put that in the outer part here. Wait, I need to spray this one too, because of course I have now set the primer with the powders. But if I do this shadow out here and then meet up with this here, and then we'll do a matte in the inner corner, I think that could be nice. A little bit different, but like something. Maybe I can do the blue and the, I don't know. We're playing around here. Maybe just a little bit of the blue. Oh, the blue seems to have a little bit more base color to it. So we'll do some blue here, and then we'll put the shimmery topper on top. Maybe this is what I should have done on the upper as well. Because like now, yeah, you can see with the base, it's really coming to life. I do really like that little blue thing there. I'm gonna use a little bit of it's a mint liner. And let me do some mascara as well. And then we can do the matte inner corner. So in this big palette, we have Brighter Days and A Moment that are lighter. Don't think that I'm gonna do a pink for this look, so I think I'm gonna do the one that is a white. So this one is Brighter Days, and I'm just gonna put a little bit. Sometimes I put a lot, sometimes I put a little. Today we're doing a little. I just wanna have something to brighten up in here. And I personally prefer a matte over a shimmer in my inner corners because I feel like it just hides and blurs some of the creasing and folding that's going on in there. You know what? I like this. I do. I really do like this. But I want to add a little bit of highlighter because there are some highlighters down here. And these are meant to be a little smoother, a little not as intensive as the Noctilucent palette. So I think we're going to do this one. Sheers. We're gonna do sheers. It seems to be a lighter but still like warmer highlighter, and I'm just gonna put, I have a flimsy highlighter brush here. It's from Nabla, and I'm just gonna add a little bit up here. Nothing too intense. Just, yeah, just a little bit. That's really pretty actually, and it is kind of intense, but I also put it on top of a glowy thing, so it's just accentuating that, I guess. I think it is pretty highlighty, but yeah, it is not as like absolutely sparkly blinding as the Noctilucent. That is true. But yeah, that's really pretty. I do like that. I think that like if you like contouring and you want to have an all-in-one palette that you can go from light to dark and want to use it as eyeshadows and you're not looking for something warm on your cheeks, I think you will like this one. I also had some brushes and I totally forgot to use them. It's also part of this collection. I totally forgot these existed. These are 4 eyeshadow brushes and a like a cheek brush that is like angled like this. I think that these look really interesting. Definitely, I think that like something like this, a flat brush, that's really nice as well. So yeah, overall, I think that this looks really nice. This whole collection from Blend Money just wasn't perfect for me and my preferences and what I love, and there's nothing wrong with that. That just happens sometimes, especially when you're the kind of person that doesn't contour and don't do a lot of neutral looks. I'm gonna add even more setting spray, and I'm gonna put on some falsies, brush my hair, and we can have a chat about this. I mean, I gotta say, overall, I like this look. The only thing that I'm like a little bit about is that I don't think that you can see that for me doesn't look good. It is just too cool toned for me. It looks better when the light comes on here, but here you can see when it's in the shadow, I think it's too cool toned and I think it's too contrasty. So if that is me using cool tone contour products, even though I know I don't love them, or if that is from the melt powder and the kind of grayness I almost felt like that made, almost like gave it taupiness, I don't understand, I don't know, or if it's the combination of both. I will of course be using, like I said, all of these products a little bit more, and I will let you know how I feel about them. I think that overall, the eyeshadows from Huda, I mean, they look good. Don't these look good? I think the mattes turned out really good. The lip color is beautiful. The foundation and the concealer are really beautiful. Now that I set down my entire face with powder, I can really like touch my face. It doesn't feel dry and crusty. That's also the Lunar Beauty powder doing a great job. But I will wear this now for, like I said, I won't be able to wear it for 12 hours, but I will wear it a bit and I will report back to you how I feel about it. Of course I will wear it more, but overall I like the look. I'm not ashamed to wear this, even though the cheek, this situation here, not my favorite. Let me know if you tried any of these products. Let me know if there's something out there that you think that I should be trying out. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I will see you again tomorrow for new makeup releases. Bye!